when Jay told me that they were starting out on this new career, I thought, oh, community health. And I have the same reaction, Jay, that you had, which is, hey, wait a minute. I think I've been doing community health too, and I never knew it. I've been with Silver State Fair Housing Council for 31 years, assisting people with housing discrimination issues, being a resource for the community, being a resource for housing providers, as a private nonprofit with a mission to ensure equal housing opportunity, and Jay is on our board. We really try to focus on a holistic approach where we want to prevent the discrimination from happening. I mean, we can go out there and help people file complaints all day long. If we're doing that, then somebody's been hurt in that process. So we want to reach as many of the different components that create our healthy communities. And of course, housing has to be the basis for so many things. So we, as part of the outreach that we do, try to work with different groups in different communities all through the state, educating those groups about housing discrimination, what it looks like, what the protections are, because very frankly, most of you are going to hear about somebody's housing issues long before we do, as part of their general health and where they are in life. So we look a lot at all of the protections of the Fair Housing Act. It's illegal to discriminate, deny somebody housing, subject them to different terms and conditions because of their race, color, religion, sex, national origin, family status, and disability. And we work in all of those areas. Right now, HUD has had a huge push on recognizing that discrimination based on sex includes sexual orientation. It includes gender identity and expression. And I think we're going to see a lot more activity in that area. But by far, the biggest issue that we deal with over and over and over again is discrimination based on someone's disability. And that can be refusing to allow someone's rent to be paid through a third party, like one of the state grants, one of the federal grants for people with mental health, with addiction issues. It can be helping people with reasonable accommodations so that they can have their emotional support animals with them, so that they can pay rent on the third because that's when their disability check comes in. And we work hand in hand with these consumers, but also with the agencies who are serving them. As I said, you are very often going to hear about issues that come up before we do. We don't want to put more work on your plate, but we want you to be able to say, hey, for this part of this issue, we want you to contact Silver State Fair Housing Council, and we can assist them. And the beauty of the disability issues is that very often people with disabilities can request these reasonable accommodations, these changes in rules or policies or what a landlord would normally do. And that's a way to resolve the issue before they're filing HUD complaints that can take months to go through the process. And although we aren't attorneys and nobody lets me threaten anybody, I do have that ability to be in contact, to educate the housing provider, give them an opportunity to do the right thing, so to speak. But we can't do that without our community partners and groups like yours. And the other thing that Jay and I talked about is the fact that many of you in the communities that you serve are very much aware of people's disabilities. You may know their diagnosis, but you know how their disability affects their day-to-day living. And one of the components of requesting reasonable accommodations is if someone's need for an accommodation is not obvious, then that landlord can ask for information from a reliable third party that the person has a disability as defined under the Fair Housing Act, and that what they're requesting is necessary and related to the disability. I think all of you could be in that position where, because you have that knowledge, because you know how their disability impacts their life, you could actually be someone who can provide that verification. And we work with community groups to help them, number one, feel comfortable doing something like that, and then giving them a template for doing it. So, as I said, we don't want to add to anybody's workload, but we want to be a resource for you all. We want you to feel free to contact us with questions, to refer people you're working with to us. And, you know, whether somebody's coming in for food and they have a family and they're telling you that they can't live somewhere because they have children, whether it's a disability related issue, we work with people who are recovering substance abusers all the time. And, you know, addiction, substance abuse is considered a disability under the Fair Housing Act. If somebody's currently illegally using controlled substances, we can't make that part of the component. But if somebody's in recovery, absolutely. And, you know, if they've got a bad rental history because of something that happened in the past, and they can demonstrate that their life has changed, that they have addressed this issue, we may be able to get them into housing that they wouldn't otherwise have been able to get into. So we want to be opening doors throughout the state. And I think you all could be a key component to that, because again, you hear the stuff that's on the ground, you hear it first. So anything that we can do to be a resource, as I said, to come in to do in-service trainings, either through this group or individual groups, we want to be there to do that.
Yeah, Kate, that was amazing. And Silver State Fair Housing Council does so much more too. So they have so many trainings and different things that people can take. They have offices in the South and in the North.
Right. And we'll go anywhere. I get in the car now and drive anywhere. I don't want to fly yet. Yeah. I just got my second shot. I'm going to wait a while for that. But yeah, I mean, we'll travel anywhere, talk to anybody, do a lot of remote work with clients. But, you know, we'll also sit down with them face to face, all masked up, and do whatever it takes to get them what they need.
So how long have you guys been around for? Oh, I'm sorry, Sophia.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to go ahead, Justin?
How long have you guys been around for?
31 years.
Okay.
Yeah. When I came, they were 3 months away from the end of a grant that they hadn't fulfilled. And I thought, well, you know, I'm new to the state. I can do this. And here I am. And it's the best work I've ever done. It's great. Yeah.
I wanted to ask Kate, do you have a primary contact person for down here in Nye County, or do you yourself talk directly with the clients?
Oh, I can talk to clients. We have an office staff of 3 people down in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And in our Las Vegas office, and the 800 number rings up in Reno. So, you know, and sometimes we'll trade off, and sometimes, and you all know what I'm talking about, sometimes you bond with someone, you know, and it doesn't matter that they're in Nye County and I'm up here, because we're buds and we're pals for life. So whatever our clients feel comfortable with is what we will do for them.
Great. Do you have, I don't know if you gave it to Jay already, maybe your contact information or a flyer or something that I can give the community health workers down here in Pahrump as a reference when they're talking to their clients and they come up with, oh, I want to connect you with her?
Yeah, I mean, we have a ton of stuff actually, and a couple of things I could send you electronically, Sophia, and others I can put together a packet and send it down to you. If you want us to do some sort of short presentation to staff, again, so that they have a better sense of what we're doing, happy to do any of those things. I mean, this is the beauty of, and the hell, very frankly, of being grant funded is, that we have that opportunity to propose things that allow us to be able to give free in-service trainings, to be out there reaching out to people, to provide supplies. We never charge for any services. So yeah, we can get you. And I think I have Sophia's email right on the email you sent out, Jay. So yeah, I can connect you with some stuff, and then if you guys want more, we're happy to provide it.
Yeah, I would love all of the above.
Yeah.
My wheels are already turning on, getting the information out there too. One of the things that I do on the side through the coalition is I facilitate their partner meetings, their once a month meetings where all the different partner organizations in Nye County come to, and sometimes community members too. But I think this would be a great thing for you to put out there too, because I'm not sure if they're aware of it, but even if they are, I think, a longer presentation would be beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And, David, I was thinking too, you're working, a lot of times people don't see shelters as part of the whole housing industry. And yet you are. I mean, whether somebody stays a day or 30 days or 3 years, I mean, if it's where somebody returns to as their primary home, that's it. All different kinds of properties are covered. So yeah, we do that work, and we have done that work in the past with shelters, transitional housing, all kinds of places that may not necessarily consider themselves to be housing. I think no matter what we call it, it's probably going to be covered by fair housing.
Yeah, we do. One of our buildings is HUD controlled because we got a HUD loan to build it. So we have a lot of those issues and a lot of juggling just to stay within their requirements. So
yeah. I always tell housing providers I wouldn't want their jobs for anything in the world. It is a tough job to provide housing, and not just to stay in compliance, but I know there are difficult situations out there, and we don't have answers to all of them by any means. But we'll do the best we can to coordinate and facilitate what we can do.
I could have used your help about 12 years ago, but I'm good at the moment. I work with the VA a whole lot, and I used to deal with veterans all the time having issues, especially with their disabilities and getting landlords and stuff to take care of those.
Yeah, that's absolutely, as I said, and that's not just the bulk of what we do, but that's the #1 complaint that goes to HUD from across the country. And it's something that's not going to change. And because the definition of disability is so broad, any condition that limits one or more major life activities. I mean, we're talking physical, mental, cognitive disabilities, alcoholism is covered, HIV status. I mean, all of these things are considered disabilities. And I'm telling you, you and I both know that the COVID long haulers are going to be in there. Anybody whose life is impacted significantly. And I think most landlords do want to do the right thing, but you do get these people who just decide this is my policy, HOAs, and they don't want to accommodate people with disabilities. And of course, the animal thing is probably the biggest hurdle that we get over. And we've seen such an increase in the last year in the number of people who are being prescribed emotional support animals. And then getting them into the housing. So yeah, bring it on, everybody. We'd be excited to work with you.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
very much, Kate.
Like a pamphlet as well. Our food
Okay.
links, definitely.
Yeah.
We'll probably be in contact with you shortly.
Right. That
There's
sounds
so many
good.
different angles and aspects. One thing is getting more of the medical providers to understand their role in supporting people, because they know the conditions, and especially as we have more CHWs in the clinical setting, that's going to be super relevant.
But thank you all for the opportunity. Jay, thanks for the invite. And I'm going to be looking forward to working with everybody.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Well, have a great evening.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, she's great. Like working with her and just seeing how kind she is, even with the landlords and with people, just to help everybody kind of coach and do that motivational interviewing, like, oh, we can problem solve here. Like, this doesn't have to, result in anyone moving or, drama or legal stuff. Like, we can just figure it out. So that, I think she brings a lot of the same kind of ethos that I think we're going for as well.